Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Jaffna Post. Today, we have with us a 15-year-old boy, Ramath Perera, who aimed for the stars. You heard it right. While many children of his age count stars in the sky, Ramath from Sri Lanka built a model rocket, tested it out, and as you would believe it, reached for the stars as well. We are glad to have you with us, Ramath. Hi. Hi. Uh, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine actually.
I'm well too. So before we start with the whole series of asking you about your rocket and your test engine, we would like to know a little bit about yourself. So could you tell us about who you are and more about who Ramath is?
Okay, right. My name is Ramath Perera. I was born in Sri Lanka, and I would say since I was 2 years old, I've had this fascination with rockets and stuff. All began when my father showed me a movie called October Sky, where a bunch of teenage kids would build their own model rockets by seeing, being inspired by other people who had made rockets, and that's what really inspired me. So ever since then, I have been trying to build my own rockets.
Wonderful, wonderful. That sounds really great to be inspired from a movie, which sometimes people don't believe to be happen too close to reality. So, about your recent space adventure, can you tell us about more about your rocket engine test, which happened on 21st December?
Right, right. So the engine we had named RE0001 because it's the first engine of the series, and it is built to be mounted on our rocket, which is named Taprobane 1. Its goal is to send the rocket up to an altitude of 20,000 feet. So far, we have
Okay.
one engine test to calculate the burn time and the force output, and I would say that it has been quite a success.
Congratulations. So, could you tell us more about how you went about with the testing? So, where was it tested, and some things on the construction as well?
So the rocket engine was primarily made of hard grade aluminium with a forward seal which is welded in with aluminium, and the back of the rocket motor, which we have been made of graphite, the nozzle which would concentrate the gases coming out, and basically the throat of the nozzle is what concentrates gas. So as the area decreases, the pressure increases by then, which increases the thrust of the rocket. So that was made of graphite because it can withstand very high temperatures, and that was sealed in with steel and epoxy resin.
Oh, that's wonderful. Could you tell us about where this was tested and how far did the rocket test engine reach?
The rocket was tested in our school grounds in Leeds International School, Tamil. Thank you
Okay.
for providing us with the grounds. So the rocket was mounted into the ground first, so that we could calculate the amount of time the engine would burn and how much force the engine would produce. The engine burned for around 2 minutes, producing a force very close to about 1 ton. So I would say it's been quite a success, which would most probably propel our rocket for even further than 20,000 feet.
That's quite wonderful to hear. While this does not really seem like a mere science project for your school, what actually prompted you to build this? Because a lot of children of your age will only be dreaming about flying rockets for Diwali, but this is a real working model with whatever materials and constructs that you have mentioned. So, what made you build this? So, who is your inspiration? A bit on that also would be helpful for the viewers.
Most of my inspiration comes from the early 20th rocket scientists such as Herman Oberth, Robert Goddard, Werner von Braun, Sergei Korolev. Those are the pioneers of modern rocketry, and basically, I follow most of their designs and most of their methods. As in our country, we do not have proper support rockets, as it's quite right now very primitive. I think like that. We had to work with a lot, and back then they also didn't have much capabilities of mass producing rockets. So it's been quite an inspiration because most of their and my situations are quite similar, and still they decided to build them. So they're the ones who most inspire me. Pereliev was the chief of the Soviet rocket industry. He designed most of the Soviet rockets, including the R-7, which was developed into the Soyuz rocket, which is still being used. Werner von Braun was a German rocket scientist who developed the world's first long-range ballistic missile, which is called the V-2. And he then was taken to America, which and became the chief designer of the Saturn V rocket, which took the astronauts to the moon.
That's wonderful. While we've heard a lot about what went about and a bit about the rocket and a lot about the technicalities, we would like to know about you, how you felt throughout the process. What are your reactions? How did you feel when it landed safely? How did you feel when you saw the rocket successfully launch?
Well, I would like to make this clear that we didn't launch the rocket as we did not have permission from the government to launch the rocket. So that was a little bit of a disappointment, but it is understandable because it was never done in the country. So because of that, we were only able to conduct one engine test. So throughout the development, which started about 1 year ago, there had been many ups and downs. We were sometimes unable to get parts because no one here manufactures rocket parts. We had to import most of them from other countries such as China and the United States. And when we got into serious development about 3 months ago, everything has been a very big rush because there's just not much of interest to manufacture most of these parts. So we have to get these specifically made, especially the graphite, because it does way too long to find a person and to accurately put the graphite into the shape you want it. So throughout the development, it's been not too stressful, but I would say a little bit because of all of these setbacks. But along with all of this, there was some technical difficulties with the circuits to ignite the rocket. Uh, Issues always happen, and we had one failure with the rocket fuel. Uh, but then immediately, 2 days after that, we did our rocket engine test, and that was a success. So it really paid off. I was quite satisfied after a whole year's worth of work that I was able to actually perform the engine test with as much of a success as it was today. Though I would say that the rocket motor still needs more development. The burn time was 2 minutes, but I would like to reduce it to 1 minute. So I would have to adjust the fuel ratios again, as well as redesign the seal for the nozzle. As the seal, after the 2 minutes of igniting, suffered a slight failure as the seal broke. So as all of that, the rocket motor needs to be redesigned, upgraded for to meet its new specifications. But I would say the test to measure the amount of time the rocket burns and the thrust were completely successful.
Thank you so much. And as you said, you do have some upcoming plans and some modifications for the rocket itself. But what are your further plans in the field and any other space adventures that you have planned for yourself soon?
So right now, within the next 10 years, this project, which I've named Project Afrobane Premium, would aim to build a rocket which would reach past the Kármán line. Kármán line is the internationally mandated boundary between space and the Earth's atmosphere, which is about 100 kilometers from the ground. So eventually, we will have to design and build a rocket which is capable of Kármán line. So there will be many rockets of this Taprobane series. Currently, we'll be working on Taprobane 1, which would launch by spring or summer next year, which would be around, let's say, March to August, around then. as well as we will have to develop a team which would be capable of designing further iterations of the rocket, as well as rockets. It's not just about structural engineering, electrical engineering, chemical engineering. So a whole lot of fields have to be used to construct something. And eventually, we will hope to successfully send one rocket into orbit, just like uh, what those people have done. So that's the plans that I have for this particular project. When it gets for my plans, I aim to either work at the Canadian Space Agency or the European Space Agency, one of them. If I'm lucky to become an astronaut.
Yeah, before we end, I would like to quickly ask you what was one, if you have started receiving congratulatory notes from across the world, and if yes, what was one surprise note or one mention that you felt very personal about?
Right now, I have not gotten much congratulatory notes from across the world, but mostly it has been good time from all of my relatives and my friends. All of them are congratulating me. My friends, of course, they make like dumb jokes and all. It's funny. It's really nice to see all of my hard work paid off. I've gotten many other interviews as well from other companies and all about this rocket project. And this is not the end. This is just the beginning of a really long line of rockets which will be developed eventually. Each time getting bigger and bigger, aiming higher. So it is not the end. It is just the beginning of the entire project.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time with us. Once again, many congratulations to Sri Lanka's very own star boy on his first successful rocket project. Would you like to say anything else to the audience?
Like to thank the Jaffna Post as they were the uh, first to interview me. In fact, so I would like to thank them as well as everybody who worked on this project. My friends, my relatives, my mother and father, especially, they were the main uh, financial support as we spent a lot of money on this. I can't thank them enough. My relatives, my friends, my grandparents, especially, they were really well versed in the engineering field, so they helped me a lot as well. And especially for the company which provided me with the casing, the aluminum casing for the rocket motor, I really like to thank them, as well as the people who made the graphite nozzle, because it was quite a lot of work. I'd like to thank them as well. I would like to thank my school as well for providing me with the permission and the grounds to perform the rocket test. So yes, I would like to thank everybody who worked on this project and the Jaffna Post as well for bringing attention to this first.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ramath, for your time. And with that, Jaffna Post wishes the rocket scientist a very good luck for his future and a Merry Christmas to our audience as well. Thank
Very
you.
much and Merry Christmas for you too.